I've been fortunate to have colleagues that help me in my quest for read. I don't want to say perfection because that's never going to happen, but a way to make things more consistent, and I think also cost effective, and that's the elliptical method of making bassoon reeds. And I don't know why anybody didn't think of this sooner, but I think people started by putting the single barrel makers put a flat spot on the bottom of the barrel support rod, and that left a sombrero-like effect in your reed. So you have a bump, and then the whole sides are the same thickness. That speeds things up, but it's not really helpful in making a reed. Really, I mean, you have to do a lot of handwork. So with the elliptical method, you have, I don't know if you can see this, you can see as I turn the barrel side to side, it lifts up, the rod lifts up, that's the center point. So what's that doing when you're moving back and forth cutting? You're raising, and as you're raising, you are cutting deeper. So the sides, so as you go to the sides, raises up, cuts deeper. You're getting a nice elliptical shape, like the crescent moon. And that's what we want. We're making bassoon reeds center to side. So and that's what the elliptical method does. I believe this came from Don Chrisleave. I can't say for sure because his son is really closed lip about his machines now. And mainly because Don was so nice, he just let everybody see what he did, and everybody, all the professional reed makers copied him. And you've got people buying up all the copies that other guys made. So it's not like I've got national treasures here or something. It's just I saw what Bob Stevens did up in Healdsburg. He made 50,000 reeds a year and ruined a decent Heckel bassoon doing it. So he had his bassoon in a side case or a side stand, just wheeled it side to side, test the reed, and throw it back. Never swabbed it out, and you can imagine what happened to that instrument. And I actually revived it. But that's another story. Anyway, back to the elliptical profiler. You can see the shape that it makes. It's just what we want. This is a Bourdon, and I've made this one a flip the barrel version. And if you look on each side, you can see a spacer that has been reamed out so that it makes things off-centered. On the other side, you see that that's the wrong side. On this side, the other side, it just runs true. There's no effect because this is the kind of effect that is amplified from one side to the other. So on the side that writes free, there's almost no effect here. But as you go to here, there might be 5/1000ths difference, and over here 10/1000ths. So on average, you'll have 5/1000ths taken off center to side from here, here, and here, all the way down your reed, which is normally on here. So that is the flip the barrel version. Has a cam on each side. I use a spacer, and I made it into a cam because it's out of round. So we call it a cam. It does work. It makes motion in a direction. That's a cam. It's what some double profiler makers call the right barrel. They call it the cam because that's what you're copying. But in this case, the cam is built in to a single barrel, and you can take old legacy machines and modify them very, very easily using this technique. All I did was take a milling machine and a spacer, put the spacer in the milling machine with the proper size cutter, and go sideways away from the set screw, and then you have a cam. And put one on each side, and with the right mounts, you've got an amazing machine that can make your life much easier. That's the flip of the barrel version. Now, I also did a fifer. That was a Bourdon, an old Bourdon, and I also did a fifer. I did it in a way where you don't flip the barrel. You flip the cane. So what happens is I've made two slots here where the cane goes, and I use finger clamps and an O-ring that holds the cane in on one side. The O-ring holds it on the other, and these two little notches in the what used to be clamps were just simply places where you sit the cane in, and you would flip the cane. And again, in this version, you can see that. Let's tip this up a little bit. You can see in this version, you can see that up and down very smoothly goes the barrel, and that gives you your center to side shape. It's the inverse of what we want for bassoon reeds. And again, I don't know why somebody else didn't figure out this earlier. I'm sure that Chrisley maybe or somebody else did, but what they did and what we did with my commercial version of Philips Music is we mounted a barrel off center. So these are all really nicely done. It's really amazing machine. But what we did, we just put the mounts off center, and these are spherical bearings, so this runs very smoothly, and it goes up and down. I mean, you can see here how it goes up and down. And that's where we get the shape from being the whole thing being out of center. Now, the problem with this is that it causes interference with the blade, and there has to be stops. The other version, this version over here, the stops are built in with the cam. So when the cam twists and goes sideways, there's a structure inside the tower that stops the barrel, just stops it, and there is no interference. And besides, it doesn't quite move the same. This really moves a lot to get the effect we want, and you can see the cutter going up and down because, yeah, we don't want that necessarily. Let's get on a center line. So this is what happens. It interferes when that goes up and down, and you can even see where it's scratched the barrel. So this is the old version. This is what the new version will be. Very simple. It will be a modified single barrel profiler Whereas these, there won't be any more of these made. The 10 I've made will be it. Great machine, but it served its purpose, and we're moving on to a more cost-effective version. This thing just has so much machining and so much going on that it's just not cost-effective to make anymore. Where this one, we just take an MD profiler and have Paul modify them to my specifications. I think people will be very happy with these. Anyway, they'll probably also be available for music, but I just want to show this innovation with, it's simple, just putting a cam on the barrel rod of a legacy profiler, and you can have the effect of a very expensive Hertzberg double profiler, or the Butterfield. And I think in a way these are superior because these are more adjustable. With a Butterfield and Hertzberg, you have to buy a new cam. Actually, I'm not familiar with the Hertzberg as far as the cam goes. I think you can adjust the cam, but with the Butterfield, you got what you got, and if you want to do something, people will take and put tape and stuff on their cam. Yeah, so back to the amateur show. But in any case, this is what I've developed. This is what I'm going to send out to Mark Ortwine. Thank you very much for allowing me to modify your legacy profilers for this experiment, which was highly successful. I made 30 reads using your machines, and I'm not sending you any of the cane because I made reads with all of them, and they're very good reads. So I'm going to be stingy in that part of it, and I'll send you a bunch of cane that you can use to adjust the machines to your specifications. I think they'll be pretty close, but you know, everybody has their own ideas of how bassoon reeds should be made. So there you go. Sorry for being a roundabout and long-winded in my explanation of how this works, but I mean, seeing is believing. There it goes up and down, cutting your cane in the perfect crescent shape, center to side. Front to back's no problem. Any profiler can do that. This is what you need. And shout out to reeds and stuff. All you need to do is have the inflection on one side. Just have the other side run free, and you have this exact thing. So reed and stuff probably is the closest to making a single barrel profiler work well. Okay.